Hey guys, Truly I Reviews here with my review of Captain America Civil War. And wow, I nerded out through this whole movie. There wasn't 1 second I didn't smile ear to ear. I had the biggest smile, I had the biggest enjoyment, I had an amazing time. It was so wonderful. The characters, the action, the story, it was all beautiful. I mean, it wasn't on the scope as the comic book Civil War, but for this movie and its title, it did an absolutely wonderful job. And I am the one of the biggest nerds when it comes to comic books. I love DC, I love Marvel, I love them both. It don't matter. But wow, the things that they did with this movie, the things that they did with these characters, I am still hyped. I am still losing my mind. I'm still smiling. This movie made me so happy. And I personally think I do have to think about it, but right now I'm giving it the best Marvel movie we have seen so far. Better than the Avengers, better than Captain America Winter Soldier, better than Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, I have to put it above those movies, even though I loved those movies so much. This movie just gave me everything I wanted in a comic book movie. Gave me action, gave me laughs, gave me some drama, gave me some sadness. It gave me just my inner nerd was just losing his mind the whole time. I was punching my brother in the fucking arm every time something happened, and I'm trying not to say any spoilers, but you'll see. I just need to say airport scene. The airport scene had me losing my mind. I can't even begin to tell you the things that they do, the way that they handle it was wonderful. Now, before I keep talking about this and getting into spoilers, let's talk about the characters. Now, we have Chris Evans as Captain America, and as you all know, if you've seen Marvel movies, he is the leader of the Avengers. He is the Boy Scout, I'd say. And in this movie, they really go in depth to this character. They made Captain America relatable because usually they make the Boy Scout character someone that's too good and too nice, but the way that they handled Captain America is they made him kind of selfish in this movie. He wanted to focus on helping Bucky. He wanted to stick his ground and be serious and bend his normal rules for his best friend. And it showed you the brotherhood that these characters have. Speaking of Bucky, we have Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes or the Winter Soldier. And they really delve deep into his character in this movie. They focus on what he has been through in his past from the brainwashing that we've seen in the Winter Soldier movie. They delve more into that and how he can't really be trusted because he is still a weapon of Hydra. And the way that they focus in on that is absolutely wonderful. The friendship between him and Captain America, you feel their connection, you feel their brotherhood, and it just makes you understand why Captain America would help Bucky and would sacrifice his own morals sometimes to make sure that he's okay, because these are two brothers that just cannot be separated, and I think it's wonderful. Now let's talk about Iron Man, played by Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man in this movie, you see his character development throughout all the movies, so you need to have watched Iron Man 1 all the way up to now, because if you see the Iron Man 1 character, you're wondering why would he want to be governed? Why would he be on the side of the government? And once you watch all the movies from Iron Man all the way up to the most recent Avengers movie, you actually start to understand why he would choose to be on the government, because a lot of the problems that he's had throughout these movies is his fault. And it makes you see his development as a character, and it makes you realize that this is why he would choose to do something like that, and you understand and you feel for his characters. In this movie, it's called Civil War, and there's like, choose a side, Captain America or Iron Man, but you can't really choose a side because you understand both sides of the fucking coin. And they absolutely do amazing in making you feel for Robert Downey Jr. and they make you feel for Chris Evans. Now, before I get into the other Avengers characters, there are two specific characters that everyone's curious about that I'm going to focus in on right now. And that is Black Panther, played by Chadwick Boseman, and Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland. I'm going to start with Black Panther. The way that they introduce this character is done flawlessly. You didn't need an origin story. You saw the origin in this movie, and they did it like that with a couple of things, visuals, and a couple words. And they just gave you this character, and you believed it. You didn't need more. You didn't ask for more. It was just well done. You felt like he's been part of the MCU since the first Iron Man movie. You just feel like that was a flawless and well done, executed perfectly, and you didn't need any more than what they gave you. And now, as the action scenes, Black Panther's action scenes are fucking wonderful. He does such a good job. From the karate screams, I guess you can say, that he does, you feel like he's angry behind that mask, and you feel for his character and his pain and his why he's upset and why he chooses Iron Man's side for a certain reason. I'm not going to spoil that here, but the reason he chooses Iron Man's side, you understand. You have no complaints about it. Now, from the trailers, you know that Spider-Man is on Iron Man's side. I'm not going to tell you why, and I'm not going to tell you what happens, but I will tell you this. It's a glorified cameo. There are one scene with Peter Parker, and there's another scene with Spider-Man. And if you know this character, you know those are the same people. Now, when they introduce Spider-Man, it's believable. The way that they go about it is well done. I've never seen something so small executed so well, and in the movie, me just okay. That's what's going on. That's understandable, and it just makes you feel like they've done it perfectly, and you have no complaints about it. Now, when he is Spider-Man, I have to say, I don't want to say he's the best Spider-Man because we haven't seen him in his own movie, and Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man wasn't as good as Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. However, Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker was better than Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, so we have to wait more for this character. But the fight scenes with Spider-Man in this movie are fantastic. I mean, absolutely amazing. Like they say, they call him the Amazing Spider-Man for a reason, and this Spider-Man is going to be wonderful. I can't wait for his solo movie, and I can't wait to see what they do more with this character. Now, I'm going to talk about more. I am going to do a spoilers review, and I'm going to give you everything about Spider-Man after you get to see the movie, and that review will be up soon. There is also Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, or the Scarlet Witch, depending on if you know the comics or not. And we have Vision, played by Paul Bettany, who also used to be the voice of Jarvis. Now, these two characters in the comic books, I hope this isn't a spoiler, but I'm going to say it anyway, so be prepared. In the comic books, these two are a couple. They eventually get married. So in this movie, they focus in on their relationship, and it actually really suits these characters because they're weird and strange, and they don't understand the world, and Wanda's fearful of her powers, and Vision understands her and wants to show her that, hey, I look at you more than just a weapon. You're a beautiful woman, and I care for you. So you find the humanity in this, I guess, cyborg or whatever Vision is. You find the humanity in him, and you understand him, and you find the humanity in Wanda, and you understand her. These two characters combined make you feel for what they believe in and what is going on in their lives, and you feel sorry for them, and you understand what they go through and how they understand each other, and how these two really focus in on each other. Now, no more spoilers. Hopefully you're back in the video. Now, these two characters choose two different sides of the battle. Vision's on Iron Man's side because he was Jarvis, so they kind of gave it that little edge. He didn't really focus in on why too much, but you understood, and you definitely understood Wanda's side of it and why she would choose Cap's side, because she doesn't want to be confined because everyone's afraid of her. They don't want to be secluded from the world. And we have Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow and Jeremy Renner as Clint Bart, or Hawkeye. Now, if you know these characters, you understand what's going on between them. They don't really delve into their characters. Black Widow got really delved into in The Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye got really delved into in Age of Ultron. So they didn't go too much into these two characters. However, the decision on which side they are on is kind of iffy. Jeremy Renner just, I guess I'm not going to spoil it, but I am. He just shows up, and they really don't delve into it too much. He's just there, and we accept it. That's the end of him and his side. That's about it with that character. Now, Black Widow's character, she chooses a side that's unexpected. She chooses Iron Man's side when after Winter Soldier you would believe she's on Cap's side. And they really kind of delve into that and they focus in on it, and it makes sense when you see why she chooses to be on Iron Man's side over Cap's. And I can't get too much into it because that would be too much spoiler territory. So let's talk about some other characters. We have Anthony Mackie and we have Don Cheadle as Sam Wilson or Falcon and War Machine. Sorry, so many characters, I'm losing my mind here. So War Machine, they have this really nice scene. They've showed it in a clip or on a trailer where War Machine is explaining to Cap how his beliefs are arrogant. And Anthony Mackie is, of course, on Cap's side because, well, Anthony Mackie's just on Cap's side. I mean, they really don't focus in on it. I wish they would have had more scenes where these characters were arguing. They had one good scene, but I wish they had a little bit more. But that would have made the movie so much longer, and it probably would have been a boring scene for most fans. But I think it would have been nice to see why Anthony Mackie would choose sides. Maybe have a little iffy feeling towards Iron Man's side, but really go toward Cap because of loyalty. But these two characters are amazing characters, and they're done really well. And if you've seen the trailers, Don Cheadle is shot out of the sky. War Machine gets shot in the chest, his blaster, and he falls from the sky and hits the ground. That scene is actually very touching between him and Robert Downey Jr. I'm not going to spoil what happens or how it happens, but that scene is really touching. Look forward to that scene in the movie. Now, there's one more hero character that I'd like to talk about, and that is Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. I love Ant-Man. I love Paul Rudd. And let me tell you, there is a scene in this movie. Oh my God, I love Ant-Man. I'm just going to say that. Oh my God, I love Ant-Man so much. Oh, okay. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Just thank you, Paul Rudd. Thank you, Marvel Studios. You were fucking awesome. Thank you so much for making my inner nerd explode on the screen. Oh my God. That's all I'm going to give you for Ant-Man. Let me move on. Now, surprisingly, in this movie, we have two bad guys. One is in the beginning of the movie, played by Frank Grillo. He's Crossbones. Now, this character is from The Winter Soldier. If you've seen Frank Grillo, you will recognize him when they take his mask off. That's not a big spoiler, but they do take his mask off so you can see who it is if you're curious on who this Crossbones character is. Now, he is not in this movie for too long. I'm not going to tell you why, but he's not in this movie for too long. And but the scene that they have, the beginning of this movie is action-packed. They have this amazing action scene in the beginning of this movie, and honestly, a lot of people are probably going to think, "Oh my God, the airport scene! Oh my God, the airport scene!" But every other action scene, from the beginning with Frank Grillo's character to the end with Daniel Bruhl's character, I'll explain Daniel Bruhl right now. But from the end with Daniel Bruhl's character, from the beginning with Frank Grillo's character, there are amazing action scenes filtered throughout all this movie, but everyone's going to be focused on the airport scene. So don't think it's just that one action scene. There are many beautiful action scenes throughout this movie. Frank Grillo's character is actually really well done from the comics. And he's not a serious, like, off the top, like a Thanos type of bad guy, but he is a good Captain America bad guy, and they really do good with this character. Now, Daniel Bruhl plays Daniel Bruhl. Sorry, that's hard to say. Says he plays Baron Zemo. Now, in the comic books, Baron Zemo is a Hydra bad guy. In this movie, he's not really a Hydra bad guy. He's more of just a bad guy, if that makes sense. I can't give too much away on this character specifically because there are some good twists in this movie, and just know that he is a pretty good bad guy. A lot of people are gonna say that they messed up, they botched the bad guy again. However, I've seen Captain America Winter Soldier, or Captain America, I've seen Captain America Civil War 3 times already, and I have to say, I understand his character. So pay very close attention every time this character is on scene. That way you can feel and understand what is going on with this guy. Finally, we got through all those characters, and there's other characters in this movie, from William Hurt, Emily Van Camp, and some other characters I just can't think of off the top of my head. Just know that they all do amazing. Now, let me talk about some of the things I loved about this movie. Action is probably, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably the best action movie we've seen in a comic book movie thus far. It's better than the Avengers, it's better than everything I've seen. It is just absolutely jam-packed with great, amazing action. The story is actually really good. At first I seen the movie the first time, and the story kind of was like, then I seen it a second time, and then I understood more because I wasn't just looking forward to the action. And then I seen it the third time. So 3 times I've seen this movie, and I actually really think this story is pretty solid. I think it's probably one of the best stories. Winter Soldier's story is a little better, but this movie's action's a little better. But its story is solid, and it's really good. That's why I give it a step above the Winter Soldier. I think the Winter Soldier is the best Marvel movie before this one came out, and now I'm balancing out. You have to give me some more time to really grasp this story to decide if Winter Soldier is a better movie than this one. But for right now, I'm gonna give it the slight edge above Winter Soldier. I have to say, Civil War is just an absolutely wonderful movie, and I really loved all these scenes between the characters, and you understand and you feel in the fight scene. It's not just a jam-packed fight scene at the airport. It's friends. These are people we've seen grow to become friends, and people we have seen just become brothers, tear each other apart for, I can't say what for, but they tear each other apart, and you feel for every single one of these characters. And I am absolutely astounded that Marvel Studios had the balls to do this story. I thought I would never see any type of adaptation of the Civil War comic in any movie ever. I thought Avengers was the only route that they would go, but they're absolutely not stopping. They're whipping out their biggest guns, and they have even bigger guns to come. I can't wait to see Infinity War. Now I'm going to try to find out some bad about this movie. I really have to sit here and think about it. So you're probably going to see a skip because I really have to sit here for about 10 to 15 minutes just to find something I didn't like about this movie. So I've been sitting here for about 10 to 15 minutes thinking about something bad about this movie, and I got nothing. I mean, the worst things I gave you were already in the characters. I mean, Hawkeye just shows up. That's not a big bad thing. I mean, they kind of explain it, but it's not a big bad thing. And Baron Zemo kind of feels like a bad guy, but I actually, when you watch the movie more than once, he's actually a really good bad guy. So yeah, there's nothing really bad about this movie. I'm really shocked and surprised. I always have something bad to pick out about a movie, and maybe it's just my inner nerd. I don't know. Maybe I gotta see it 3 more times, making it a total of 6 to find something bad, but I can't find nothing bad about this movie. I am so sorry, guys. Please do not assume I'm just a Marvel fanboy, because I did kind of get into it on the Batman v Superman movie, but I just can't find something bad about this movie. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could. Now, I need to talk about this because everyone is going to ask, compare it to Batman v Superman. Now, these 2 movies are completely different. They are completely different movies. So, I did like Batman v Superman. I have my issues with the movie, but overall, I loved it. To see Batman and Superman on screen together was absolutely wonderful. And I love this movie. To see the Civil War comic adaptation, even though it's not exactly as big of a scope, it's still a good movie, and they do a great job. Now, I'm going to compare these movies, even though I don't think I should, but I know a lot of people out there want me to. So, comparisons, Captain America Winter Soldier is a better movie, I do have to say. However, Batman v Superman has a more in-depth story. They focus in on the Batman character and who he is and his motivations, even though you kind of don't agree with him in the movie. But these movies are 2 separate things. I do give Civil War the edge over Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman just had too many problems, too many issues. I do need to see, they have a 3-hour version coming out on DVD. I need to see that 3-hour version, and then maybe I will change my mind. I'll probably have another video for that when it comes out. But until then, Civil War is the better movie. I'm sorry, I am not a Marvel fanboy. I love DC. I love Batman, The Flash. Superman is probably one of my favorite DC characters. Joker, everything. So don't go out there in the comics talking crap, okay? And now it's time to rank Captain America Civil War. And I'm going to give Captain America Civil War my first ever in my entire life 10 out of 10. I have never given a movie 10 out of 10. Not Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I've never given Star Wars a 10 out of 10. I didn't give Avengers, the first Avengers movie, a 10 out of 10. I give no movie a 10 out of 10, but I have to give this movie a 10 out of 10. The things that they have done with this movie, the way that this movie made me feel, the smile it gave me, the nerdgasms it gave me, best movie I have ever seen in my life. And I recommend you go see this movie ASAP. Do not stop. Do not stop what you're doing. Take off the day of work. Go see this movie. If you're a big comic book fan and you're disappointed because they don't have all of these characters that they did in the comic, just understand. In the comics, they have these what if stories. In the comics, they have these Elseworld stories. Look at it as an Elseworld or a what if type of Civil War movie. That way, you don't have to want all these characters and you just accept it for what it is. Don't look at it like it needs to be this big outstanding thing. Enjoy it for what it is and don't look at it as a big expectations. Leave your expectations out the door if you're a comic book fan and just come into this enjoying it for what it is. Now, if you're a regular movie fan, hold on to your expectations. I promise you it'll beat them all. It beat every one of my expectations as a comic book fan and it beat every one of my expectations as a movie fan. And this movie is wonderful. 10 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And before I go, I really do have to apologize. I've been kind of out of it. I've been very busy lately with Mother's Day and all these other things. I don't want to get too personal, but I've been very busy lately and I haven't really done my reviews. I have recorded them, but I have not edited them. So I will bring you soon my Jungle Book review, my Huntsman Winter Soldier, or Winter Soldier, we're talking about comics, my Huntsman Winter's War review, and my Star Wars The Force Awakens review. And also, Jungle Book review, Huntsman's Winter's War review are with my brother Jonathan. So forgive those videos, they will have some inappropriate things because of him. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay true and be odd. I'm out.